Hi, Charlie McCann from Stan James. I want to preview this weekend's Premier League action. First of all, we know the makeup of the Carling Cup final. It is Manchester United 4-9 against Aston Villa 13-8. And of course, that is not in the 90 minutes. That's not an extra time after penalties. That's just to win the Carling Cup. And I think that 13-8 to Aston Villa, who of course won at Old Trafford 1-0 early in the season, O'Bonnell scoring, I think that makes a bit of an appeal to me. On to the Carling Premier League, of course, action this weekend. Birmingham 2-1 against Spurs, 11-8, draw 9-4. A bit too big, I must say, the draw. And Birmingham City at 2-1. I think Spurs are completely overpriced. They're 11-8. They haven't scored in their last two away games in the Premier League, Spurs, and I do think that Birmingham very, very resolute. Of course, they've got to hide in midweek by Chelsea, better teams than probably Birmingham City. Hopefully, maybe Inter Milan next month will get a hide at Stamford Bridge between now and the end of the season. But this is really good, defensively excellent, and of course Barry Ferguson, one of the players of the year for me so far this season. I just think that they may shade that. Won't be many goals in it, under 2.5 goals. I think it'll be a knocking bet, but it probably will be around about 8-13, I would imagine. Fulham haven't scored in the last two, are 17-10 against Villa, 13-8. Again, I just think Villa will shade this. Good on the break, plenty of pace in the team, and Stuart Downing, of course, should have scored, and arguably unlucky, whatever. Of course, Arsene Wenger in this war of words now, embroiled in this war of words, this feud almost with Martin O'Neill. But I think O'Neill will take offence to the fact that Arsene Wenger saying his team are just a long ball. And when you think that midfield have with Petrov, Milner, Ashley Young, and also Stuart Downing, it's hardly a long ball side, I would imagine. I'd maybe think Arsene is a bit upset that he didn't take another 2 points at Villa Park. Hull versus Wolves, anything could happen here. Wolves are, I know we'll get 6 pointers between now and the end of the season, but this really is a big test for both sides. I thought Wolves were good and sort of resilient and committed against Liverpool, but lacked class. And I think Liverpool, those 2 points, and they almost attempt not to win those 2 points, may well come back to haunt them at the end of the season if a Champions League place is lost by up to 2 points. I think Liverpool will put Bolton to the sword. That said, Liverpool, totally different proposition at Anfield than they are away from home. My bet of the weekend is West Ham 6-4. Carlton Cole, massive loss. Again, 12 months ago, would you have imagined saying that? But Carlton Cole really has progressed. He's really good centre forward at present, and I think at Upton Park, I think West Ham are slightly in a false position, and I think it's about time they climb the table. 6-5 against Blackburn. Blackburn had that wonderful game, wonderful rhythm midweek, and one thing I wouldn't bit slightly concerned about is West Ham being associated with James Beattie. I think he will be improve West Ham much at this stage of the season. My own team, Everton, are 11-8 at Wigan 2-1, and I think that's a bit too big for Wigan. Everton, okay, were very good against Arsenal last away game in the Premier League, but again, please don't think too much of their 2-0 win against Sunderland, who were very, very mediocre midweek. I think people like Charles Nzobia, I think, is a really good player, and I think that'll be a good game at the JJB and or the DW Stadium as it is now, and I think there won't be much between the two teams. And again, if anything, that maybe just come down on Wigan. They're 11-1. Burnley are in free fall. They won't get anything against Chelsea. Man City, Portsmouth, similarly. Man City, for all the I think limitations were exposed midweek, but they still played a decent, and they are a very good team. And Adebayo will probably come back into that side. They should be too good for Portsmouth. But the big game of the weekend is Arsenal 8-5, United 7-4, 9-4. The draw. I'm a big United fan on this occasion. Remember, Arsenal, when they played Chelsea, had a real test at the Emirates. They just weren't up to it and things like that. And I remember seeing, I know they were not good enough against a very, very intense Liverpool team away from home, but they played Chelsea. They played at Stamford Bridge United, and they were very, very good. Only a 1-1 draw, but arguably they could have won that game. And I do think that United will come up on top, especially without maybe the possibility, we don't know the extent of Vermaelen's injury, but I think United will hit them on the break, and I think they'll have chances, and I think United will win that at 7-4. The other Premier League game is Sunderland on Monday night, even money. However, woeful, 7 points from 36 possible. Remember, before Christmas they would beat Arsenal, they beat Liverpool, okay, the beach ball game, but they were resilient. Drew 2-2 at Old Trafford. This was a good team. They can't be that. I think Michael Turner's ban is due to come up, so maybe he and Kilgannon, I thought they they were workmanlike against Everton midweek, but I do think this Stoke team really are limited, and I think it's about time that the Stadium Light had a win, and I think even money on Monday night is, I think, a fair price. Just a couple of games from the Championships. Cardiff are 20-1 now for the Championship. I don't think there's much chance of that after this 6-0, but I think they'll go in many people's accas this weekend. 4-6 at home to Doncaster. West Brom similarly 8-11 against Sheffield United. I think West Brom, for some reason, are a better team on the road. 1-1 with Ipswich midweek. It could have been 4-5-0 before Ipswich. I don't know if you've seen the penalty, was very, very debatable. The other one I'll put up as well is Leicester 15-8 against Newcastle 11-8. That's the live game. I think that's a fascinating game. I think it'll be a draw, which is priced at 12-5. But for me, two bets of the weekend: West Ham United 6-5 at home to Blackburn Rovers, and the other one, I do think Manchester United will win Super Sunday at the Emirates. Be lucky.